How's it going, guys? So today we're going to talk about Synthmaster, this beast of a synth and everything that it can do. It's going to be more or less an overview slash review, what I think about it. So let's get started. For people who don't know and they're looking for they're in the market for a synth right now and they want something powerful. Synthmaster, it can do it all. I haven't came to a point where I felt limited using this synth. It's a modulation monster. It has so many parameters to modulate, and all of them can be. I haven't came across a parameter that couldn't be modulated. I mean, it's ridiculous. In a good way, of course. So let's look at it. We got two layers here, just like Silent, and in each layer has its own oscillators, filter, and an entire envelope section with key scaling LFOs, multi-stage envelopes, and special 2D envelopes, which control two parameters at a time. Really innovative stuff. Each oscillator, there's two oscillators, and each one can be changed to a couple different types of oscillators, which is pretty unique to this synth. You've got basic, additive, wave scan, or wave table, it's the same thing, and vector, which is pretty unique to this synthesizer. Basically, it's four basic oscillators, which you can kind of morph between using these two index, which would be pretty useful to use the 2D envelopes on these two parameters. Pretty cool. And we have an audio in. This thing does have a built-in vocoder, so if you want a synth that has a built-in vocoder, this would be a great choice. And let's see what else this thing can do. It's got, if you want to make some dubstep, for instance, this thing can do FM synthesis very well. It's got 4 modulators which can modulate these two oscillators here. Now these modulators work in order, so 1 can modulate 2, 2 can modulate 3 or 4, and 3 can modulate 4, but 3 can't modulate 2, for instance. So 1 can be modulated by itself, 2 can be modulated by 1 or 2, and so on. Which still leaves you with a lot of power. Let's just see. 1, 2, and there's a couple different ways of doing this. Now this synth it has an architecture which is semi-modular. Basically with the filters, you got split, parallel, series. It's a lot like Massive and Silent and all these big name synths all bundled into one. It's really cool. It has a great unison. If you're looking for like big trance leads, like here, you've got your basic sine wave. I'm gonna change it to a saw and turn up the voices. Now right now all the saw waves are pretty much starting at the same time. So if I'm gonna make it where they're all random, more like a trance synth. I mean, right from the get-go, and you can change the detune. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Okay, so let's see. On the view, we got an arpeggiator. Great for rolling bass lines, chords, stabs, all kinds of stuff. An effects section, which is cool. This is different from the effects we find here. So we've got even more effects. We've got distortion, lo-fi, which is basically a bit crusher, and ensemble, which sort of simulates a unison effect. It plays more voices, and a phaser and an EQ. And I gotta tell you, I love it when synthesizers have a built-in EQ. I mean, it makes things so much easier. You can really make a sound stand out. And let's see, we got two filters over here, which could be run in split, parallel, or series. You can turn it on like this. And each filter, you can either have it as a digital or an analog. And they're a bit different. Analog's more warm. It has a drive on the inside, as the digital does. The digital has a limiter as well. But the analog, you can change the slope like so, and I believe it has a self-resonating oscillator, just like the old style it was modeled after. The digital, it's basically like a digital. It has a pre-gain, a drive, basically like a built-in distortion, and its own limiter, which is really nice to have. Now, we have a modulation matrix over here I was talking about. I didn't really get to it. Let's say I want to modulate this cutoff by, let's see, ADSR1. So I go here, and you see it shows up. It pops up right here. So, but it's not affecting it because you need to turn it up, like so. Then will this affect this? Just like a normal filter with an envelope would. Now, we have 4 global LFOs here, which is really nice if you want to do one LFO for both layers, because each layer has its own envelope section, which is really nice. And then we have the effects section, really powerful effects here. And what's really unique to this synthesizer, which also makes it even more powerful than what it already is that let's say you have layer sends, which is really nice. Let's say you have a lead, right, and you want to make it sound big, but you put a reverb on it. Now it sounds too wet and in the back. Well, with this you can actually put the reverb on it, but have the dry signal playing at the same time. So it's like a parallel, almost. You know, like you can allow the dry signal to come through, but still have the effect of the reverb, which is really nice to have built in a synth. You know, normally people would do it on their mixer. So we have a compressor, tremolo effect, a vocoder, chorus, echo, and reverb, and they're all great sounding. Like, I've tested them all, and I mean, that's up to you. Honestly, I would check out the demo, and just for you to get your own feel. And the browser. Now, this browser is pretty standard now, especially with Native Instruments. They're massive at FM8, Absinthe. They all pretty much go by this, you know. Oh, look, I want to lead, and I want it to be dance. And let's see what we got here. Okay. This sounds cool. And then you try it. Alright, sounds pretty cool. You can see how it was made. You can tweak it yourself, however. Let's see what else we got here. Those pretty cool sounds. Really get you started. It comes with a ton. I got the factory, but you can get more. But to me, it comes with enough. Like. Pretty gnarly sounds. Let's see. Now, you probably noticed these easy parameters. They pretty much work the same way as the macros do in Massive. You have these easy parameters. You can pretty much, let's say I want to put this on an easy controls, easy 1. So now this is on easy 1. And whenever I move this, it'll move that. And what's cool is that these are globally saved. So if I MIDI learn this on my controller, which I don't have, and I change the preset, I can still move it. And you know what I'm saying? Which is really nice. So that's basically it, you know. You got a little preset saver, which is nice. I don't really save too many presets, really. I should. Let's talk about the settings. Settings pretty cool. The synth, let's say you don't like this color scheme, you know. You can change to a different color here and there. And you can change the default waveforms, which is nice. Like if you use different sounds more often. And here you have your layer settings, so you can mix and turn off and on all your sounds. A master volume and a boost, which is basically like a giant compressor. Like. That's probably ear-piercing. Yeah, it's probably ear piercing for you, so I apologize.